Are you looking to promote your business? Perhaps a video for your website? Or maybe just a story to tell? If so, then you are a name to know. I am your host, Alicia Figueras, and a name to know provides a stimulating 10-minute interview for your business. For more information, give us a look at anametoknow.com. Why? Because you are a name to know. Welcome to A Name to Know. My name is Alicia Figueras. I'm your host, and I'm so honored to have Jeffrey Cavagnaro with me today. You are definitely a name to know, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Alicia.
In a previous show, I had a gentleman by the name of Larry Geis on here, and he has an amazing program dealing with all types of addiction and counseling services. And he asked me to have you come in and just share your story.
Sure, no problem. I met Larry actually 8 years ago. My daughter has severe mental health issues, which comes along with addiction issues. And we were in and out of the hospital like maybe 20 times in a 6-month period. She would go into the emergency room, and after about 24 to 48 hours, they would deem that she wasn't harmful to herself or someone else, and she'd be back out. They would refer her to an outpatient. And when she would get to the outpatient, they would say that they really couldn't handle her at this position. So she had nowhere to go, and she'd be in my home for another week or so until the next episode would happen. So I have 2 other daughters besides her, 2 younger ones, and my wife, and the house was like being in an Iraqi war zone. It was like really, mentally it was terrible. And we were just doing anything we could for her. We were running back to the hospital, back and forth. And one day I was in my doctor's office, actually a foot doctor, and he saw the troubles and stuff that was about me, and we started talking, and he mentioned Larry Geis. He says, I have a patient they think that actually could help you. He does counseling. He's very, very good. He says, I spoke to him. So I gave him a call. Within 24 hours, he was at my house.
Nice.
Never had that before. When he spoke to me, my wife, my other children, and my daughter. And then he became even more than a counselor. He became like an advocate. He would go to the hospitals and say, why are you releasing her? What's going on, back and forth? And he helped us out immensely. Whenever we had a psychiatrist or someone before, it would be good for the half an hour, but then you're on your own till next week. But Larry would take it a little bit more personal than his own job. Larry took it from his heart. And he really helped us immensely on what we did. So not just my daughter, he helped the family, which I didn't realize. In the beginning, I thought it was just for my daughter. Later on, I would realize he'd be talking to my middle daughter and the younger daughter. After a while, they felt a lot of attention was being taken away from them. So they started to, go against my older daughter a little bit. And then Larry told them, you got to think of mental illnesses if someone has cancer, another one that, it's hurting us. And it got them to understand better, and it made me appreciate how my daughters felt a lot better. And like I said, he was always just a phone call away. And we've never experienced anybody in the system that you would just go in and out where you feel helpless. And he's also talking about he's trying to build a facility that would help people like that.
Yes.
That you'd have a place to stay, eat, you have a regiment where they'd do something maybe with farm animals in the morning, give them a self-use for life, which would actually help them and move along, and then place them somewhere afterwards. And I think that's not only for my daughter, but for many other people could be used.
That's right.
And instead of just going to long-term drug use or incarceration, and then they're back out, we do the same thing again. So if our fellow politicians on both sides would only put more money, maybe in the beginning it costs a little bit more to do this, but it'll save the reoccurring.
That's right.
And what they don't realize is the family life. It's such a trickle-down effect, it's amazing. But there's many times so I'll do anything, for my daughters, for my family. But when you start slipping, Larry just gives you that extra clutch that he's there. So I would definitely, and then even in my line of business, when people ask me, can I help, whether it's an electrician, power transmission, I know my name's on the line, and I wouldn't send somebody unless I know they could do it.
Right.
But Larry definitely would help, and would help the family too.
I have interviewed several of the people that Larry has worked with in the past, and what's consistent is he's not a typical counselor where, as you said earlier, you come in and meet with someone and you leave. He involves himself in the entire family unit, and he's available 24 hours a day. You don't see that.
There is nobody 24 hours a day, because when we had other counselors, whatever, they'll say you call, nobody answers. Maybe you have to wait till the following week. But even if it's in a crisis, you know, Larry would come down and he gets right into the middle of it and he calms it down before it even explodes. It explodes to a point. So there's really no words to say how he is, but I would definitely recommend him at that point. And the only thing I would say for the future for everyone that's involved in it, the family does need a lot of counseling. Like we always put it, we think of our daughter or son, whoever it may be, and we don't realize how hurt we are. And we don't really realize how hurt the other two children are about it. So, but Larry brings that to your attention too. Some things he says, there's only so much you can do yourself. So take care of yourself, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to take care of your family.
That's right.
But he's definitely has a great heart.
How's your daughter doing today?
Right now, to tell you about the system, she is realistically, they wanted her to be long-term somewhere. Because under the first couple of years when this had begun, she had gotten a DWI, and we tried to get her into the mental health court, and we couldn't get her into the mental health court. As you know, in Long Island, the DWI laws are stricter than anywhere else. And believe me, I believe DWI is serious, but there is a point to where they should have plea bargained and got her into the mental health court, and they refused to do it because of the strict laws. And she ended up, they still let her have a life. She got a second DWI. So she's on probation right now, and they wanted her at this point to be like in a longer term, which we agreed with. We always agree along the line. There is no long term for mental health. So right now they have her in a drug addiction place, and the facility says, Mr. Carano, this is really not the place for her. You know, we really can't handle her mental aptitude, but that's where probation wants her to be. That's why I wish Larry's dream comes true, which would be helpful for everyone. As the system shows, and I'm proof of it, my daughter's where she shouldn't be. It's not because I'm a father holding her out. Wherever they wanted to put her before, I backed it, and she listened to me and went. I've sent her away personally to a facility to where you would have to pay for in Connecticut. She went away for about 1.5 years. It was called Wellspring. She went there, and it helped out. But that was another state. We don't have anything here in New York for it. So I think maybe some of the budget money could be more well spent.
That's right.
Not for my daughter. She's up to 28 now. She's getting closer to getting it all together again. But someone else's daughter and son, I don't ever want them to go through what we went through. So even if my daughter's okay, which I think she will be now, I just want to make sure someone else doesn't do the same thing.
Larry, thank you for sharing with me today.
I appreciate it.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Larry Cavanero, another name to know.